Hello, everyone. Today we're going to dive into the example case study of Mark and Julia. For this example case study, we're going to be focused on maximizing and or increasing our retirement account contributions as we prepare for retirement in our 50s. As we can see here, Mark is 56 years old and Julia is 56 years old. This couple is married. Today, Mark has a W 2 salary of $120,000 and Julia has a W 2 salary of $80,000. They will collect Social Security in retirement, and we'll go through a couple different scenarios just briefly on how collecting Social Security at 62 versus 67 versus 70 changes their retirement picture. Jumping into our savings, Mark and Julia, they both have a 401k and they are actively contributing to that 401k as of today. This is about 5% of their salary because they have that 5% primary match. So for Mark, that's $6,000, and for Julia, that's $4,000. Their pre-retirement living expenses are $7,750. Keep in mind, this is exclusive of all debt obligations, which includes your mortgage and other debts that you may have, as well as insurance payments. But something to be mindful of for the sake of this example is that Mark and Julia have no debt obligations. That's right. Their house is paid off. They don't have a mortgage payment, and they also don't carry any other debt obligation. So this is really just discretionary income that they're bringing in and that they're spending. They have a goal of retiring at the age of 62. That's for both of them. They would like to live on $5,500 in retirement. If possible, they would like to travel every 2 years for $6,000. And this starts at Mark's retirement and Julia's retirement at the age of 62. And this goes on until the age of 85, whether this is every year at $3,000 or every other year at $6,000. And do keep in mind, this is adjusted for inflation. We're also going to assume that every 10 years they buy a new vehicle for $45,000. This does start in retirement. And so that is something to keep in mind, and we'll have this as the end of plan here. And we're also going to have a home gift. The home gift starts, and it's just a one-time, but when Julia turns 70, that's when this starts. Really, this is just a $30,000 home gift. They have 2 kids. They would like to give each of them $15,000. This could be for things like a down payment on a home. Maybe it's an upgrade, a remodel, things of that nature, just to help them get ahead as it relates to that home cost. Diving into their net worth, they have a net worth today of about $1.3 million. Broken out, they have $35,000 in the bank. They have $605,000 in their investments. Mark's 401k is at $300,000. Julia's is at $200,000. And they also have a joint taxable account with $105,000 in it. Their property, like I said, is paid off, and today's current value is about $725,000. Again, with no debt here. So diving into the retirement analysis, we can see here that we're going to have to make some adjustments. Today, we're saying that they have about a 36% probability of success. If we go into the comparisons, we can see here that why is this? Well, it's really because of our long-term care costs here. At 88, we have about $1.4 million, and then it drops off to zero at the age of 90. We can see that we run out of money here at 90. And again, this is because of that $70,000 approximately per year long-term care costs for both Mark and Julia for the final 2 years of retirement. We can also see that, our withdrawal rate through retirement is pretty volatile here. It's really high and really elevated early on. Social Security kicks in, and then we have those goals where, again, it becomes elevated. So let's go into the analysis and see what we have going on here. Well, all of these are current, like we just talked about. Mark and Julia retiring at 62, spending $5,500 in retirement, their travel goal of $6,000, new car of $45,000, and that home gift of $30,000 with their salary. So the first thing we wanted to look at in this example is their monthly budget. Is there a way that we could buckle down and save a little bit of money per month since we don't have any debt obligations? Can we tighten that belt just for a couple years until retirement? Well, again, this was just a simple approach. We just looked at what they had going on and said, hey, we spend about $7,700 per month. What if we could reduce this to $6,000 per month by $1,700? What does that do? Well, looking at this plan, it really actually doesn't change much. So that means that there's some other adjustments here that we may need to make. Looking at Social Security, we just assume that this kicks in at the full retirement age. That's at the age of 67. Well, as we can see here, they retire at 62. Social Security doesn't kick in until 67. So there's a gap in income. If we go to our cash flows, we can see that we are relying on our invested assets for an extended period of time. And that's this 5 years right here from retirement until Social Security kicks in. So we have in excess of $130,000 per year where we're relying on our invested assets. However, early on, we have spend from unsaved cash flows. So this raised the question of, could we contribute more to our 401ks, into our Roth IRAs? So let's go back and do just that. And again, this is just up until retirement. So from today until the age of 62 when they retire. We wanted to start with just our Roths. What happens if we contribute $7,000, which is the maximum contribution? They can do the catch-up, but we just wanted to start at $7,000 just to see what that did. Something to keep in mind here is that these Roth IRA contributions are after tax, so that is something to be mindful of. Well, this significantly increased our probability of success. Going to the comparisons, we can see here that this proposed plan has about $1 million more in ending assets than our current plan. We can see that at the end of this plan. So at 88, they have about $2.29 million and then 938,000. Going to the withdrawal rate, we can see here that it also reduced our overall withdrawal rate. Sure, we have the spikes where we're going to rely on our invested assets for those particular goals that we may have, but for the most part, this is pretty low, especially once Social Security kicks in. Early on, this is still way elevated, so we have some work to do here. Going back to our analysis, the next thing that we wanted to look at was Mark and Julia's 401k contributions. These are pre-tax contributions as opposed to after-tax, like our Roth IRA. So we wanted to increase these, and we came up with a number that was based on that cash flow analysis that we were looking at. And so we assumed that, hey, from today until retirement, we could probably stash away about $50,000, knowing we will make adjustments later. But let's start there and see what that does for us. Toggling back here, we're going to increase these to $25,000. Probability of success is now 66%. If we look at the end of the plan, we can see here that our proposed plan has about $2.4 million more in ending assets than the current plan. At 88, that's about $3.6 million. If we go to our cash flows, we can see here that this changed our spend from unsaved cash flows from about $40,000 down to $13,000. So strategically, saving this $64,000 in total, again, with that $50,000 going into those 401ks, plus the additional $14,000, that's $7,000 each for the Roth IRAs. This is our planned savings here. And then we still have spend from unsaved cash flows. So let's go back to the analysis. Let's see what it looks like if we decide to max out our Roth IRA contributions at $8,000. So this does help with our probability of success, and it does give us more money at the end of this plan. And then more importantly, it reduces our overall withdrawal rate dramatically. So something that's kind of interesting that we're going to dive into now is our Social Security strategy. So currently we're saying full retirement age. Full retirement age is the age of 67. This is why we see a withdrawal rate at 66 of 8.9%, because from retirement from the age of 62 until the age of 67, we're relying solely on those invested assets to carry us through that 5 years. And then Social Security kicks in, and that's where we see, a sub 5% withdrawal rate from the age of 67 until 90. So looking at this strategy, if we change this to as early as possible, which is at the age of 62 when we decide to retire, we can see here that it dramatically decreases our withdrawal rate. And this withdrawal rate is pretty sustainable, right? We're at sub 5% all the way through retirement, outside of these, couple goals that we may have in retirement. Again, at 70, that's that home gift and then the new car purchase and things like that. But overall, this plan looks pretty good. What's interesting here is that if we toggle back to the probability of success, we can see here that we have a 64%, assuming we take this at 62. If we change this to full retirement age, which is the age of 67, and we refresh this, this actually goes to 68. So even though our withdrawal rate looks better if we were to take Social Security at the age of 62, our overall probability of success is actually better off if we take it at full retirement age. These are interesting factors that we have to think about as it relates to our probability of success and for our entire retirement picture. Let's go to the comparisons and see how this changes things. At full retirement age, we have $2.5 million at the end of this plan. If we change this to as early as possible, again, which is 62, we can see that this number changes to $3 million. So we have about $500,000 more in ending assets, but our probability of success is reduced. Again, 64% at 62 and 68% at full retirement age. So it's interesting here, as it relates to our probability of success, it's better if we take it at full retirement age, but as it relates to our comparisons, we will have more money in terms of ending assets if we take it early, and our withdrawal rate will be substantially lower, especially early on in retirement, if we elect to take Social Security at 62. So, there's a couple things to think about here. How much money do we need early on? Can we move the retirement age from 62 and maybe make it a little bit later? There's a variety of different variables here that will play into this plan. So it's really important to analyze your individual situation and go from there. So, guys, the point here isn't necessarily looking at the probability of success as an indication of what your retirement will look like. It's really, again, individual to you. And we can see that through these different strategies that we've implemented in this retirement plan. Guys, my goal on this channel is to empower individuals like yourself to embrace financial confidence and unlock the path to a life truly well lived. If you liked this case study, toggle back to the landing page where we have a variety of other case studies. Thank you so much. Have a good one.